I'm Teresa Harding, and this is the Teresa Harding Podcast. This podcast is for people who know that this industry is not about the network marketer anymore. It's about the people we serve and the change we can make in other people's lives. It's about the entrepreneur inside of each of us who's trying to find our voice. It's for the people who want to change the world and are looking for the most powerful way to make that happen. Hi, welcome back. I'm Teresa Harding. Glad to have you here joining me. We are going to do something that I think you're going to love today. And this is something that if you'll really sit down and do this with me, it's going to change your life. It will change the direction of what's happening for you right now. I am not exaggerating. I am not making this bigger than it is. I'm telling you, this will be powerful for you. And it's an exercise that I want to take you on. And it's something that's going to help you with all the things that you're struggling with in your work, your business, trying to grow a business, all the things that you're dealing with because of the global threat that's going on around us, around the world, and how everything is shut down. And I want to help you. I know that there are ranges of emotions out there. There are lots of people who are really, really struggling. There are people who are doing fine, but not only struggling financially. And the government bailout in the US is going to help. I know there are other countries doing this. I know we have listeners from around the world. So I just want you to know that I know that there are hard things happening. And for those of you who this is not that hard, we need to make sure we're compassionate. We have empathy for the people who are struggling because everybody's having their own experience in this. And that's the beauty of the fact that we're all in this human situation together because we all have different experiences. We all have different opinions. We all have different personalities that all come together to create the feelings that we have during this time and the reactions that we have to everything that's going on. And I don't care what side of the spectrum you're on, this will be a powerful exercise for you. I'm calling it the success exercise, and it is amazing. So, but I want you to get out a piece of paper and a pen, and I want you to write this down or do it in your phone or do whatever. But I want you to be serious about this. And a computer is probably easier because texting method is not going to be as fast for you to be able to write some stuff down. The more you take the time to really think and write down the answers to these questions instead of being flippant about it, the more powerful this will be for you. And I'm telling you, it will change the way that you are looking at things, and it will change the way you're deciding to move forward in your business, and it will give you courage, and it will empower you in a way that will be surprising to you if you will really do this with me. Okay, so get ready. We're going to do this. The first thing I want you to think about is I want you to identify a moment in your life where you were going through a challenge or a struggle, something that you faced when it like something hard and something that you didn't believe that you could really get through this. You didn't really believe that you could come out on top. You really felt like I can't do this. This is too much. This is more than I can handle. I want you to think about that time when you were sick in your gut, you were sick in your heart. You might even be emotional about it. It might be something that if anybody came to, on the surface you seem fine, but anybody comes up to talk to you and says, "Hey, how are you doing?" or "How's this going?" and you feel like either tearing their head off or you feel like falling apart. I want you to think about a time when you felt like that, when it was that hard. You didn't believe that you could do it. You seriously doubted yourself. It could be something mental, could be something physical, might be something relationship that you're dealing with, whatever. Okay. I want you to think about that and I want you to write that down. And I'm not going to pause too long here. If you need more time, I want you to pause the video and I want you to take the time you really need to write this down and think about it. Don't just be flippant about the answer. Now, the second thing I want you to think about, I want you to think about how did it feel to be in that place? I want you to write down every emotion that you can think of that describes how you felt through during the parts of that journey where you were going through that thing. What were the emotions that you were feeling? Was it fear? Was it anger? Was it um, was it confusion? Was it hatred? Was it blame? whatever, and some of those are emotions, some of those are not emotions, but all the thoughts and feelings that you were having, all of those, all of the maybe you were afraid of who you were. Maybe you were, dealing with your kids and you were afraid how you were going to treat them. Maybe whatever. I want you to write down every single thing, everything that you can think of. How did it feel to be in that place? Now pause the video if you need to pause to write those things down. And I want you to take the time to truly get in that place. Don't worry, I'm not just going to take you to a place of depression. We're going to get out of that. But I want you to really think about, what did your heart feel like? What did your mind feel like? Did you feel like shutting down? Did you feel like hiding? Did you feel whatever? Everything you felt like. Did you feel like, dude, don't mess with me? Get out of my way, because I'm not going to let this get to me. Whatever it was that you felt, I want you writing it all down. Everything. I felt like punching someone. I felt like, you know, going to the shooting range. I felt whatever. I needed to punch a pillow. The next thing I want you to think about is, what did you do to overcome it? What did you actually do? What were the steps you took to overcome it? And I want to invite you guys to comment below and tell us what those things were. I'm asking you to be very, very vulnerable. And I'll tell you, the more vulnerable you become, the more it changes you and the more you help change other people's lives. And I'm not doing this just so that we'll help people on this video. Yes, I want to help people on this video. But those of you who are willing to put it out there and start sharing some of that information, as you start learning, when I start teaching you how to share your story, how to get your message out there, the fact that you are willing to be vulnerable now, you're preparing yourself to be farther ahead of the rest of the class by doing this now. So I'm not just asking for one reason. It's like 5 different ways this is going to change you and change your business by commenting and sharing these answers with us. So let us know. So this third one is, what did you do to overcome it? How did you get through this thing that you didn't think you could do? You totally did not feel like you were capable, you weren't worthy, you weren't whatever. And but there were some steps you took. There were steps you took, and step one might have been, I gotten 5 fights with my friends, or I punched the pillow for, every day, or I was mad at my family for a week, or whatever. There are certain steps you took, and then I humbled myself and I realized this about me, or whatever. To think about the steps you took and the action items, actual action items, not the thoughts. This is the action items that you took, because I might have gotten mad at everyone. Let's say I'm having a problem at work, and if I might have blamed everyone. And then I realized, then I learned the skill that I needed to have. And then I went and apologized to my employees because I had blamed them. And then what were the steps? Tell me the steps that you took. And I want you to think about it this way. Like maybe you read a book. Did you have a thought? Did you have a conversation with someone that helped you think it through? Did you make a decision that kind of changed things? Whatever it was, I want you to write it down for yourself. I want you to make comments below, and pause the video if you need to pause it so that you can think through this and write those down. Then next, I want you to think, what did you realize about yourself when you did overcome it? Because you got through it. You got through it somehow. You're still living and you're past that place. But what did you realize about yourself when you did overcome it? After you had, gone through all these steps that you just listed, how are you different? What did you notice about you? What did you think about, like, the ways that you were responding, about everything that happened? I want you to think about that. Were you proud of the way you'd handled it? Did you feel like finally I stood up for myself? Did you um, did you feel weaker and feel like, wow, I could do better next time? What was it that you felt when you got through it? But I can guarantee you, some of those things that you felt will be powerful. Some of those things will have to do with feelings of pride in that you overcame it, even if you didn't handle it exactly like you wanted. Okay, the next thing I want you to think about is, I want you to, like, think about all those things that you just wrote and realize that what you've been doing is you're uncovering this story of what you went through so that you can share it with other people, and it's going to change people's lives because they are going to relate in some way to your story. And because you shared emotions, because you shared the feelings, because you shared the weaknesses and the things that you did wrong, and then by the end they get to see your transformation and they get to see how you changed. But more importantly, you need to share that story with yourself. When you write that story down, you are you are recognizing and reminding yourself, wow, I can do that. I did that thing. And you will realize, oh my goodness, you are crazy amazing. You are an overcomer. You overcame that thing. You did it. That thing that you thought you could never do. And this story will be something that will buoy you up, but it will also help other people, help you find your audience, help your audience find you, and it will help change their lives. So thank you for listening, you guys. I am excited about you thinking through this process, and I want you to start sharing that story with your audience. And if you don't have an audience yet, you're just barely starting, then start sharing it, and people will start to find you. And the people who love your message and who connect with your message, they're going to start finding you, and you'll start to grow your audience. All right. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in the next episode.